Da 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 da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes, get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And today it's not exploring physically the outside as Mother Nature. Yesterday I did a walk it all day. I went outside. It was absolutely beautiful. We hit a high temperature for this day in history yesterday, and it wasn't a day that I could just sit inside the house. I connected with Mother Nature. I ran around. I got some important chores done. I got my passports, photos done. Not great photos. They don't let you smile or anything, right? I didn't even think to fix my hair or anything. But that's okay because it's a passport, and it was something that I needed to check off my list. It was something that I had budgeted for, but it was a matter of getting it done. Also, in this movement that I'm making myself, I'm spending a lot of time in lessons, right? I'm spending a lot of time in contemplation, and then I'll get back to the topic today of this amazing word of freedom that we had. But just to mention a little bit yesterday about how good I felt, how balanced I felt, that I made sure that in these 3 days that I attended to all parts of my personal being, right? That I'm able to go off today and start the week in a job that puts the roof over my head in the moment, and to be able to shine there with a new set of energy that has nothing to do with what I'm doing, but in, right, practicing my craft, and in that creation of the best human being that I possibly can be, that I move along. And it's a matter of choice. It's a matter of perspectives. It's a matter of, right, peeling off. I know it's a cliche, peeling the onion. I know it's a cliche, but it's the perfect analogy for what we're doing, because I went to visit my sister yesterday, and she looks so much better, even in her mentality. That little bit of gumption, that little bit of determination, that little bit of never give up. I saw it clearly in her. It was encouraging because it made it so that, I wanted to stick around a little bit, shine a little bit on her. And believe me, she could use a little bit of sunshine in her life. But can't we all? Right? Part of that sunshine in my life is in that freedom for me, the freedom to make my own choices, right? That freedom to move along the way that I want to move along, that I'm able to express myself the way that I express. And, you know, even though somebody might look at it and go, oh, Cindy, those pink bangs, right? That's okay, right? These pink bangs are me. I'm happy to have them back. Yesterday, part of those tours, not just get my passport and visiting my sister, was on the hunt for my favorite brand of coloring for my bangs. I've tried so many, and they're just wasting money, right? And I don't know if they're discontinuing the product or anything, but I was on a mission, and I got it. So I am back in business, and I am pleased, right? And you might think goofy bangs, right? What's a 62-year-old woman doing with pink bangs? Can't she act her age? Age is a state of mind. It truly is. It's like when you graduate from high school, right? Some people go off and they do a career, and right, and they love their life and they're traveling the world, but they miss out in other opportunities because you look at your friends, right? And some of your friends have chosen to be parents and wives, and high school reunion comes along, and these two characters meet up again, and you recognize, truly, you get a eye awakening that it is in our choices, because that life could have been a choice for you, but you chose differently, right? And sometimes that friend with the wife and the screaming kids is looking at your life and going, oh my goodness, I would love to travel the world. I would love to do this, right? I would love to have her life, and beat herself up, not realizing the person with the career who's traveling the world is looking at their friend going, oh my goodness, she's got a man that loves her. She's got a man that allows her to stay home and have babies and take care of the house, right? And it is in that want for ourselves, in those choices that we make, and sometimes we make bad choices, right? Right? He was a cutie patootie. I married a cutie patootie, but he couldn't even remember garbage day 4, right? He had his traits. So we got to make sure that we allow that time to make good choices for ourselves, right? To truly make good choices for ourselves, not just act on our hormones, not just act in those choices that we have, because now that person who's traveling the world and has that career is making partner choices who's also, right, fitting into that life. But at any moment, that person could say, oh my goodness, I made a bad choice. I really did want the house and the babies, and right. Lots of times we don't get a lot of choices, right? That selection as we move forward, right? I'm not going to have babies. I'm 62 years old. I've made I've made those choices, and I can beat myself up and I can envy my friends, right? But that's just going to lock me in the miseries. I'm not living vicariously through anybody else's experiences. I'm living vicariously through my own, because my recipe is a unique recipe to me, and what works for me, right? It just works for me. But the lessons are the same, right? Like I say, we're all in the same storm, but we're all in different boats, right? And through our choices in that experience that we're having on that floaty or log or cruise ship or fishing boat, right? In our choices, it will dictate how we will ride out the rest of the storm, but also when that storm has calmed, right? We have still made those choices for ourselves. Are we willing? Are we able to make different choices? Right? Because a different storm is going to come along. And with that different storm will be a different calm. Right? Right? And in these partnerships and in the life that we create for ourselves, will it fit in well? Right? Or will we be malleableness? We were talking about flexibility a couple of weeks ago. Will we be flexible enough to move with the change that's necessary? Right. And of course, right? How smart are you? How are those decisions? Are we going to make a whole bunch of really big mistakes, really bad decisions? Or we can make some quick decisions, which in the same case could put us in a bad situation, but just as easily we could find ourselves with the miracle of our lives, right? Just from making one choice. But it's still going to offer up another selections of choices for us to move forward. Okay, so talking about freedom, because we have 5 more minutes before I have to run off to work, right? What's this all got to do with the freedom? Well, it was what was tied into that conversation a little bit yesterday, that freedom to be able to make those choices, to be able to live with those choices, to be able to be swayed from those choices when necessary, because we make just as many bad choices as we do good choices. And a lot of those choices are just stepping stones to where almost all of them are just stepping stones to the next experience, to the next stage in our evolution. And to each of us, that evolution is going to be a little bit different in our capabilities of what we're able to bring to the table because of some of those previous experiences, right? Some of those previous choices, right? And also what we're bringing into our life right now in being able to even understand some of these conversations. And if we understand these conversations, that we understand that there might be a little bit of responsibility and a little bit of choice making to be had, right? That our freedom is all tied up as part of humanity, right? And it's the way I think about it, right? I do believe this is a big evolutionary process that we're in this moment, right? It's got nothing to do with religion or politics or cultural or traditional or in your immediate upbringing, right? We're all in the same storm. And without that connection to each other, we're not going to be able to have an opportunity to get on a different floaty, a different log, a different cruise ship, a different fishing boat, right? Maybe you're comfortable right where you are, but that's okay. But you have something that might help somebody else up in getting to that comfortableness that you're at, right? So part of my freedom is to be able to make my own choices, right? To not be so easily influenced, to actually believe that I get to make my own choices, right? That this is a story that I'm writing, that I'm experiencing, that I'm contributing to, right? And I get to choose who also gets to contribute to that. And I have and made good decisions, and I have and made bad decisions in that, right? And I will make good decisions in that, and I will make bad decisions in that. But without that willingness to try, without that willingness to make a difficult decision, that willingness just to keep going, to never give up, how are we going to find that freedom? Because it's got to start somewheres. And I think where you're sitting right in this moment as just as good a spot as any. Okay, you guys, I'm running off. I got a bus to catch. Everybody, have a great week. We'll see each other tomorrow. We'll look at this in a different perspective. I hope there was a perspective in that, but it is what it is, right? Next. Have a great day. Bye bye.